So good morning, it's 7:30 and I'm here at the ISA in Munich, in München, where I grew up and where I spent my life until I was 18. And today I meet with Eckhart, my friend, with whom I was working when I was 18. This means 30 years ago. I was working with him and his house was very close by. Now he has a company of 50 people that make electronic and especially laser equipment, and I was so lucky to meet him again by coincidence 3 years ago on the laser fair here in Munich, and since then we are working together. And his son Corbinian, who was not even born then when we met first, he's now his company coordinator. So here at the Isar, that's the river that goes through Munich, people are jogging, and what you see here in the back is the technology heart of Germany. On the left side you see the European Patent Office, and behind it's the German Patent Office, and on the right side you see the Deutsche Museum, so the biggest technical museum in the world. And so this is where I spent a lot of time when I was 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, a lot of time in those buildings. Now I could do everything on the internet, and I do, but at that time you could not do a patent research on the internet. Anyway, when I was 18, I invented my first device and got actually a German international patent for it. It's the first real-time polarimeter. Polarimeter is a device that can measure the vibration direction of light. So light is usually vibrating in all directions, perpendicular to its radiation. And then I had this idea, well, again, because I was doing many things. I was also collecting stones, and there was one special stone which was from Iceland. Coincidence again, last week we spent in Iceland, that can divide the two parts of light. One is polarized in this way and the other polarized in this way, and that's the Icelandic Doppelspat. And so this was the first way to polarize light, and it was still used and is still used in very expensive, very high quality polarimeters. Now it's all done by plastic films, but I came up with this idea how to measure the light behind those Icelandic Doppelspat and determine polarization of light without turning it. And I was first invited with a company that made sugar measuring technology, how much sugar is there in a concentration based on this polarization of light. And so I never really studied, I never really had a job, a normal job. But now, being here, I realized something. It's really interesting, a really interesting coincidence, that the polarimeter, the topic that really was my first introduction to the world of patents and really inventing something new, is based on the principle of polarity. Yes, polarity, here in the polarity of light. And I can see this is now the main thing that drives my life, not anymore limited in the direction of polarization of light, but in respect to every form of energy, any form of life experience at all. It's the idea of the Yin and Yang. Yes, Yin and Yang is on the doors of so many doctors, but who knows how to do something with it? Who knows how to make it practical? So for me now, the polarities of life, they have not only to be there, but they have to alternate. So this, you have to imagine the yin and yang sign in a constant movement between the two polarities. So just to determine how much yin and how much yang somebody has, it's not good. Not a good idea, because this just sets a moment in time where it's actually health and life is about all the time changing the polarities between yin and yang. And this is what I say now, it's the reason for sickness. If we are not anymore allowing, or at least not allowing it in certain areas anymore, to move from one pole to the other, sickness has to come in to wake us up, to shake us, to destabilize us, to labilize us. So the dynamic labile equilibrium as the ideal of health, it's what all life tries to bring us to a state of dynamic labile equilibrium. And if we choose one or another thing because we like it, because we prefer it, because we think it's more secure, because we think it's the only thing that we can do in respect to money, to relationship, to place of living, place of work, foods, then, of course, first of all, that's an aspect of age, but also that's an aspect of stagnation. And then something has to come in to labilize us again, to bring us again into the flow, but into a flow of movement back and forth between the polarities. The yin and yang sign is such a good symbol for this. And interestingly, that's what I'm realizing right here in front of the European Patent Office and the Deutsche Museum at a beautiful Tuesday morning, blue sky here in Munich at the ISA. And it's beautiful to see how, after all, after yin and yang is two polarities, what's even more beautiful is that it has a circle, and this circle that connects everything. And it's not only the duality of life that we have to focus on, it's also the unity of life. But that's another topic. We have to use both, we have to live both the unity and the duality.